as I was growing up, I lived my father struggled with addiction growing up. I don't know if you knew that, but
Did not.
in addition to that, just losing both of my parents to cancer. And so just dealing with those things throughout college and just throughout my younger years, dealing with those types of obstacles and just having to figure it out. I lost my mom first in 2020, I'm just going to say 2022, 2002. And so just losing her at an early age was very impactful to the rest of my life. You know, at this point, I'm still feeling those things that I wish she was here for. And even since losing my father, just that grief it can be so heavy.
Hey everybody, I'm back with another episode of Solar Success Stories. And today I am so excited because I am talking to someone that I call my daughter, my very first daughter. This is Derichia Wells, and she is an HR manager at a local nonprofit. And I call her my daughter because when I was a sophomore in college, she was an incoming freshman. And we participated in Frosh Camp, which I talk about in my book. And Derichia was my daughter, which meant she was one of the campers that was under my care. So she was my daughter. And here we are 22 years later. Yeah,
Can't
22
believe
years later. And she still is affectionately called my daughter, and she calls me mama, and it feels amazing. But that story goes even deeper, and she'll share some of that, I think, in our interview. So this is Derichia Wells. Derichia, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, as you said, my name is Derichia. I am born and raised here in Memphis and attended the University of Memphis for college, as you mentioned, and got a degree in business management and focused in human resources. I am married with 2 children, and I'm a new dog mom. So yeah, I've moved away. We've lived in the Carolinas, we've lived in Nashville, and we came back to Memphis to home. And I've been back now about 8 years. So it's been a journey.
That's been 8 years because of course, I remember visiting you in Charlotte.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe it's been 8 years. I visited you in Nashville too. Yeah, we all were in Nashville, all over the place. Well, you have the sweetest family, which I tell y'all that all the time. I love your husband, love
Yeah.
your kids, I love your journey. And I'm just so happy for you because you absolutely deserve all the happiness that you have and all that you're experiencing. Because
Thank you.
I know a little bit about your story. So I'm super excited to get into your story because I know it's going to be helpful to a lot of people. So in this program, I have what I call the So What Success System. And it's my belief that if you can learn how to overcome obstacles, eliminate excuses, and calculate choices, you can have so what success. And that is success in spite of anything that you go through in life. And Derichia, I know from the moment I met you, you went through a huge challenge at that time, or you had just gone through a really, really big challenge that could take a whole lot of people out. And you have proven that you can not only overcome that challenge, but you've overcome so many more since then. So I know you are a So What Success woman. So talk to me first about some of the obstacles that you have overcome.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me again, Summer. I didn't even say that. Thank you for having me. Um,
Absolutely.
but some of the obstacles, I guess, personally, as I was growing up, I lived my father struggled with addiction growing up. I don't know if you knew that, but
Did not.
in addition to that, just losing both of my parents to cancer. And so just dealing with those things throughout college and just throughout my younger years, dealing with those types of obstacles and just having to figure it out. I lost my mom first in 2020, I'm going to say 2022, 2002. And so just losing her at an early age was very impactful to the rest of my life. You know, at this point, I'm still feeling those things that I wish she was here for. And even since losing my father, just that grief it can be so heavy. In addition to those types of things or those types of obstacles, I've had some career obstacles as well, but just the, leaving or graduating from college and thinking, okay, I've graduated. Now I'm thinking this big job is coming. And you're like, okay, where are the jobs? Where are the jobs? And they're like, you have to have experience. You have to have experience. And so just kind of maneuvering through that, also while doing the grieving of your parents and things like that. So just and how I say overcome, it's just being persistent, really, with this is something that I want to do. So I need to figure out how to do it. And so I know at one job I was in a call center. And I just asked them in the HR department, I asked the HR director, I said, can I just shadow the HR assistant and just kind of, so I can learn some things about practical, what happens in an HR department? And so that's what I did. They allowed me to do that. I had been at that call center for years. And then, it was coming upon graduation and I really wanted to be able to have some experience. And so just shadowing her. And then they offered me like a floater position. So I was able to just kind of float around and then work in their department, filing, just learning about HR in general. So just being persistent is, how I feel like I overcame, the obstacles, all of the obstacles, personal, professional, career-wise, all of that.
That's really powerful, Derichia. Well, first of all, to take the initiative to ask to shadow somebody, because I think a lot of times people feel sorry for themselves that they don't know, but they don't take the initiative. And like you said, and be persistent in dealing with those challenges. So those are major to me. I mean, those are major. Those are things I've never experienced. I don't know how that feels. And so I just know that when I see you, you are always super sweet and positive and encouraging to other people. But I know that's something that you've dealt with. I think I could see how it's made you a stronger, better person, and even a better mom. So you're a great mom. So the next part of you do a great job. You do better than trying. I have seen it in action, and I can't believe how big they're getting either. It's crazy. Mm-hmm. Like you made me a grandma too, huh?
Pretty much.
So the next part of Solo Success System is something you've demonstrated as well. It's learning how to eliminate excuses, because you definitely could have made excuses and people definitely would have understood. It's like, okay, she's dealt with a lot. That's a whole lot. I can understand why she's not doing well or she's not doing much with her life. Talk about some of the excuses that you had to eliminate, or maybe some excuses you made and then you learned how to get through them.
Yeah. So, I lost my mom the semester I graduated college. So I graduated December of 2002. And, certainly could have had this sense of sulking or defeat due to loss, and just in general, even now after losing my parents, I also feel like there could be a sense of loss even of my childhood from having a dad who was addicted for the majority of my childhood. He at some point during my college time, probably a year before my mom passed, was able to just kind of get on the right path. And so, but just really having that experience, people experience loss every day. And so really it's about, being able to move forward and just, remember your parents, or remembering my parents, and trying to keep their memory alive for like now with my children and things like that. And just remembering the things that they've shared with me and taught me, And so just trying to, I think, moving past the grief, because it comes in waves. That's how grief works. And so just not trying to stay there is important, because if you stay there, it can get you in a bad place. And so you never want to stay in that one place. And just, you want to always just remember that change is inevitable. So things change on a day-to-day basis. And my boss always says we have to be flexible and agile. So it's really about that. With everything in life, you have to consider, like, this could change tomorrow and I have to be okay.
Every bit of it. You're exactly right. So the third part of the Soul Success System is calculating choices. And so I followed you and watched you in life and the choices that you've made throughout your life. Talk about some of those choices and how you've made those choices.
Mm-hmm. So essentially, with getting into my career, as I mentioned, it was hard with no experience, graduating college and thinking like all of these jobs. I mean, I had this grade point average and I did, this and that, and I was involved with this on campus and that. And so all the jobs should be rolling in. Well, it's not like that. You really do have to put some additional work in and, get some experience, because that's what companies are looking for. So, and I had some challenges where, I would take a job just because, well, maybe this job is paying more, but it was not on the path. So essentially having to really refocus and say, okay, I want to be in HR. So these are the types of jobs that I need to be going out for. And then having to be okay with then potentially taking a lower paying job in order to just get the experience. If it was an HR assistant or an HR clerk, position, which, are more of the entry level kind of roles or titles that you think about when you think of HR, and just so that I can get those skills and experience that was needed to propel me to where I really wanted to be in HR.
That's so amazing that you just said that. And it's so major. And I hope, especially young people in their careers, really took hold of that. And sometimes you have to take a step back so that you can take a step forward, or take a step back so that you can go on the path that you really want to go on. And that's not always easy to do, but that's the path that's going to get you where you're supposed to be going or really want to be, right?
That's right. Yeah.
I love it.
You do.
I love it. That's smart. That's so smart, though. But that's something that a lot of people are not willing to do. They're not willing to do. So, okay.
And
so
it took me a while to get there too. I went through all these other jobs trying to, I just gotta pay my bills, or I just gotta, do this. But like I said, I had to just refocus and say, I really want to be doing something in HR. That's what my degree is in. That's what I enjoy. I'm a people person, so I love to get out there, and I just enjoy the field in general. So I was eager to get in there, but life happens to you and you have to, oh, I got to pay my bills, but I want this job that pays less. So, you have to make some choices sometime, and then maybe you have to adjust your lifestyle.
No, that's part of making those choices, right? I love it. I love it. Well, you have definitely proven that you know how to overcome obstacles, eliminate excuses, and calculate choices, both personally and professionally. And you are a So What Success woman. And I love it, daughter. But what is your personal definition of success? How would you define success?
So I guess obviously success could be defined, everybody's going to define it in their own way, because it's so individualized. It's such an individualized thing to measure, right? Mm-hmm. And so to me, success could be different on a day-to-day basis. Like if I'm having a rough day, like it's a bad day with my grief is here, it's a success that I got up and put on clothes and went to work or got through my day. So to me, that's success, right? So, but people, or me specifically, really being able to focus on what's important, drown out the noise and the chaos of life, and just still be able to get the job done, right? Overall, I feel like success is thinking of life, work, family, all of those things, thinking of them as things I get to do and count them out as blessings. Our days are not promised. And so we can beat up on ourselves a lot, right? So, taking joy in those things that you did well today and saying, today was a successful day. Tomorrow, I'm going to do this a little better. You know what I'm saying? And so just being reflective too, being very reflective on your journey, like where you've come from, and just being able to appreciate your daily successes. So, and really picking those things out to say, I rocked it today, and really giving yourself props. And so just being at a place where you can do that. And pick out the good things and say, or even the bad things, and say, you know what, I didn't rock it so well today, but here are some tips to help me get through tomorrow and be successful in that tomorrow. So I guess that's kind of, I don't know.
That's an awesome answer. No, that's an awesome answer. And that goes to what I think about giving yourself grace, and something that I don't think we do enough of, and celebrating small victories and small wins. So I think that's an excellent definition. So one last question. What is one piece of advice that you would give to someone watching this who wants to be successful, however they define it, but they face challenges, and maybe some challenges similar to what you've gone through? What would you offer as some advice?
So I speak to, in my role, I deal with a lot of interns. So career wise, I would always tell the students or young people that I work with, starting out in careers, to try to obtain internships, like learn from me. Like that's something you definitely want to seek out, and build relationships with professors, get a mentor, because it will certainly prepare you for the workforce, right? And so I always tell the young people that I'm around, do that, get an internship, make sure, have multiple if you can, and then get the skills that you need before you can get the degree, right? So that you're more marketable and you have an advantage over others that apply for that same job that you want. And just always be persistent, go after the things that you want for yourself, for your life, for your family, and be humble in everything that comes your way, because you just never know who's watching you, and what opportunities may land in your lap, and people remember you from way back when. Like someone remembered me from way back when, and we've kept in touch all these years. And I always tell people, stay out of the comparison game, because your journey is your journey, right? It is not anybody else's. You can't. One of the best pieces of advice that my mother gave me before she passed away was, you get tired when you get tired. So when you get tired of that relationship, you'll let it go. When you get tired of that job that's not serving you any longer, then you'll let it go. You'll find something else. And so I always just, try to encourage young people in that same way. And just in general, like I said, as far as like losing people, personal losses, it's hard. It's nobody can tell you that it's not. And to be honest, it's going to happen to all of us at one point or another, when we're going to more than likely lose our parents. I mean, that's the typical way. These days, you never know. But here today, gone today. But we really do have to just take the time that you need to grieve effectively. Like, nobody can tell you how long that process is. Nobody can, rush you through it. And you really should feel all the feels. Like, some days it's going to be up, some days it's going to be down. And you just have to ride that roller coaster. And when you need to, if you need to, go seek a therapist or a counselor to help you sort through those feelings, if it's down all the time. So I hope it's helpful to someone.
That's a lot of great advice, Derichia. So that's awesome. All of that was really, really good. And I thank you so much for sharing your story, your journey with us. And I know you've made this mama proud, and you've made your biological parents. I know they'll be very, very proud of you too. So thank you so much, girl. I love you.
Love you too. Thank you again for having me.
I absolutely loved it.